I had this pulled up from Gaming Bolt. Shout out Gaming Bolt. 15
Step
things to know.
Beyond the Blue and Cygames' upcoming RPG.
And really, if I play this game, it's gonna be like my main introduction into the entire franchise, right? Because I didn't play whatever the original game was. I didn't really know about it. Sorry, excuse me. It's late. The only time I ever even touched Granblue was the Versus game that they dropped, and that got insanely popular. But there was issues with that. I thought it was fine. I didn't own the game, but you know, I did play it here and there. And I know they just recently dropped another one. I feel like it's just like it's a world that has a really beautiful animation style to it, and I really want to dive more into the. I'm a sucker for anime, right? And I'm a sucker for art because I love that. It's eye candy to me. So if it's actually intriguing enough, I'll probably go into the Versus games and just more into everything this is. I even found out today that they have an anime. I feel like I knew they had an anime, but it just slipped my mind or something. So 100% I'm going to actually dive more into it if I'm interested from the video game.
Extravaganza Granblue Fantasy Relink. The game's mobile-only forebearer is something of a cult classic in the East, with the Japanese developer believing now is the best time to unveil their marquee IP onto the rest of the world. There are significant changes that
this
will
shit
make
RPG.
Relink more palatable to Western audiences, most notably its combat. But if the game as a whole is as good as the gameplay we've seen, then we're looking at something very special.
And I heard this is like completely four-player online.
Granblue Fantasy Relink represents Japanese developer Cygames.
The thing that I'm trying to figure out, because I knew it was going to be an RPG style ish, right? It's just I didn't know what kind of game it's gonna be. I guess I should play the demo, right? But this thing that I was curious about is from the screenshots that's on the PlayStation Store, it primarily just looks ambiguous. I don't know if it's gonna be something that's completely like an MMO style, you know what I mean, like online all the time, or if it's just I can play with three other people online, being 4 people total. Almost like a Tales of sort of game. I can see that it's not turn-based. Or is it going to be the case of me playing a game similar to like Dragon's Quest? That's kind of how I'm trying to figure out too, like what kind of game is it for real?
Title to date. Central to that ambition is to shift Granblue Fantasy.
Now this shit looks fire though.
Turn-based approach to combat present on the original game, released for mobile and internet browsers back in 2014.
Oh, it was a mobile game back in the day?
That mobile games aren't as popular in the West as they are in the East, so this might provide one explanation towards the more action-oriented approach to Relink.
Oh no, that's kind of fire.
Just be of a studio
is the mobile game still out? Because if the mobile game's still out, I'll check it out. Like for real.
Spreading their wings after the warm reception to prior games. Gameplay will be newcomer friendly. Anyone who's had early access to playing Granblue Fantasy Relink will attest to the gameplay being familiar to any fan of action RPGs. This is deliberate.
I'm here for this.
The developer and the team at Cygames have been very careful in making Granblue Fantasy.
Yo, I haven't played like a real RPG type game in a hot minute. I'm talking. I don't mean like the first person type. I mean like anime style RPG, like this type of game, like just straight action RPG since Kingdom Hearts 3 for real. I feel like it's just been a while. Yeah, put me on. I guess action RPG counts as like Bloodborne and things like that in Souls games. But you know what I mean? I mean like this style. So put me on, please. Definitely put me on.
Friendly as possible by incorporating fluid, responsive, and intuitive
controls. I love fluid.
And of course, there's nuance and specific upgrade paths and special moves.
All right. Maybe last pause in a minute. I told you I was definitely going to be checking out more anime stuff and putting that on the channel, right? I know I've been going through my own stuff and situations, but I told you I was, so I 100% will.
Moves and the like, but getting the hang of the gameplay will be immediate. Combat.
Nah, this shit looks clean.
Granblue Fantasy Relink takes the form of real-time, fast-paced action with basic attacks, enemy dodging, combos, character-specific signature moves, and magic. Enemy offense, especially the attack pattern of bosses, will need to be learned to progress. And from the gameplay,
see, I'm here for that.
So far,
100% here for that.
Enemy variety
I have no problem with learning bosses and stuff like that. I don't know if they're gonna get into this. Are the people that you're playing with is, you know, because it's an action RPG type of a game? Is it something where it's gonna be along the lines of, um, like you have NPCs there if you're not playing with another person? Because I tried to get, you know, the homie Dom interested in it, and he was just like, "No, it doesn't look good. I don't want to play it." I'm like, "Okay, well, you don't have to. I'm just, you know, I just thought it'd be something cool that we could check out together, type shit." But you know, it is what it is. So I want to know, like, is it possible for me to play through the whole thing solo? Do you have to have people to play with, or if you don't have anybody to play, is it going to be AIs or you know, people that are automatically being controlled in the game?
The core structure behind battling in Granblue Fantasy Relink is of quick combo attacks and dodging, while each character in a player's party supports their own unique special skills that define their combat styles. As you'd imagine, most of these skills are offensive in nature, with elemental magic among the most eye-catching. Of the wealth of gameplay videos shared on YouTube, most enticing is the ability to deliver an icy blast to opponents, freezing them in place, leaving them exposed to more pummeling at the hands of your party. Not all skills are attack-based though. No, as is traditional with RPGs,
Yeah, you gotta have
there
an
are
healer.
maneuvers that'll support your party with buffs too.
Yep.
Skybound Arts.
Is that the
Beyond
studio?
individual skills, party members in Granblue
it's
Fantasy
a
Relink
skill.
possess potent signature maneuvers that can be unleashed in battle. These moves, dubbed Skybound Arts, comprise powerful attacks and
See, yo, this looks like what the SAO game should have been getting, bro. This looks exactly how the treatment of SAO games should have been. Because the treatment that we have been getting for the SAO games is atrocious. I do plan on actually trying to get through them on the channel at some point, but they are a drag to get through sometimes. And that's a disappointment considering SAO. Like, why hasn't there been a massive VR SAO game yet either? Y'all focusing on the wrong stuff for real.
special moves unique to each character that are executable via the rechargeable SBA gauge. These attacks slowly recharge as the fight goes on and are among the most cinematic moments in the game, adding a nice layer of satisfaction to support the devastating damage. There's an extra element at play too. Execute perfect combos, and Skybound Arts will temporarily
Like, I haven't
level
played a
up,
really
while
good
the
one
immediate
in a
moments
long ass
after
time.
utilizing a
SAO
Skybound
game.
Arts attack renders opponents briefly unable to guard, exposing them to yet more
Lost,
damage
yeah,
via
Lost
chain
Song,
burst
exactly.
attacks.
Lost Song was the last good one I
Campaign.
played.
Granblue
Like, really
Fantasy
good
Relink,
one.
of course, features a lengthy campaign mode, and this will be undertaken via single player only. There is a hub world that can be returned to at any time if players would like to undertake
So the whole
with
story
these
mode
quests
is single
being
player.
returned.
That's hard.
This will be undertaken via single player only. There is a hub world that can be returned to at any time if players would like to undertake quests, with these quests being playable via teams of up to 4.
Gotcha. I actually like that. That's different. You get to go through the main story solo. You know, that's how you play the game. But they have the possibility of updating the game as well, to the point where they can constantly add in quests through the games via free updates or free DLCs or just paid DLCs, right? And these can be mainly quest multiplayer focus encounters. That's a fantastic idea. If you just have your narrative story that you're trying to tell, you want a singular player to go through it, you don't want it to be encaptured in the multiplayer setting, but you'll still maybe have these AIs that are controlling the people. That's cool. And then anytime you're outside of the main quest and you're maybe leveling up or something, maybe you have to do quests to level up. I don't know if that's that type of game where you have to do the secondary quest things to level up, or if there are main story quests that also count as... All right, this is the best way I can describe it. If the story mode, per se, has side quests inside of that you're still able to do solo because it's a part of the story mode, or if it's you do story stuff, you have to stop momentarily, take a break, do these quests, and you can play multiplayer with friends, family, whoever, or with AIs or something, whatever that might encompass if you don't actually have somebody to play with. And then you can go back into the main story after you've already leveled up. I wonder what type of game it's going to be.
Quests. Quest types include boss battles, time attacks, and survival mode. And as
See,
aforementioned,
that's perfect right there. Boss battles?
via teams
Quest
of up
attack.
to
I mean,
4.
what is it? Boss raids.
Quest.
Hold on. Easy horde. You got a horde. You got 2 bosses right there. I mean, yeah, you can just add in an infinite amount of quests. Honestly, this is a whole nother side of game I'm just trying to tap back into. So I mean, I'm here for this. I'll learn it.
Quest
Take
types
my time.
include boss battles, time attacks, and survival mode, and as aforementioned, can be undertaken solo or in 4-player co-op.
Okay, that's
Promise
cool.
of valuable loot, the reward for taking down dangerous foes.
Damn.
In addition to these quests,
This shit is eye candy.
there are also fate episodes, which will flesh out each party member's backsetting. Relink's world Sky Realm is steeped
okay,
in
I
lore,
like
with
that.
these quests aiming to expand
'Cause I don't
on
know
the
anything about these
landscape's history.
characters.
All in all, Cygames
At
reckon
all.
there's up to 100 hours of side content in Granblue Fantasy Relink.
Except I seen a short somewhere talking about this one female character that has a sword, and her only goal is to just get better as a swordsman or a swordswoman to impress her cousin or something like that. I don't know who she is. Her design's cool, fire. Apparently she's like a fan favorite. I don't know her name, but that's the only person that I actually recognize necessarily, like per se. And of course, I guess the main character, the one that's shown
Up to 100
right here on screen. I don't know if you can see my mouse right here. I guess his name is Gran. Maybe that's why it's called Granblue.
hours of side content in Granblue Fantasy Relink. Boss battles.
Oh my gosh. Ads, come on now.
Among
Oh yeah, I am
the
on my gaming
flashiest
channel.
encounters in the entire
account.
game, boss battles can be played solo in 4-player co-op or with a squad of CPU allies. They represent the greatest opportunity to perform huge combos, deal significant damage.
Say that again?
Battles can be played solo in 4-player co-op or with a squad of CPU allies. They
Mhm.
represent the greatest opportunity to perform huge combos, deal significant.
Now, with the AI that we're controlling, I hope he explains this, or I'll just have to play the demo, or you guys let me know down below, right? Is this something that you can control? My only reference point that I can really say is in video games that I've played growing up, like the original Dragon Quest. I'm talking about DS, SP type Dragon Quest all the way, I guess, into some of the newer ones. I haven't played the newer ones yet, but I played one of the newer ones. So anyways, like in older games, you can kind of set, and I guess even in Persona, right? You can set what you want your AIs to do. I've seen that be lost in a lot of newer RPGs where you can actually set the roles of what you want them to play. So I hope they actually take that back into account with this. Being what I mean per se is, for example, let's say you are the main damage class, right? And they do this in Tales of as well. But you have another AI that's controlling a member on your team that is usually projectile based, might have a couple of close quarters combat situations, but primarily they're projectiles and they're using magic, all right? And you can choose to have them learn DPS magic stuff or mainly sit back and heal with healing magic. You can set that. So anytime you get into an encounter, they're usually away from the fight, trying to put distance between them and the enemy, and you are primarily supposed to be in between them to make sure that they're never getting hit. Now, if you get crowded and surrounded, you know, it's a little bit more hasty of a situation. They might be forced. The AI will do something to get more involved in the combat, but primarily they're just support. So I don't know if I made sense to people that don't understand RPGs and stuff like that, but I hope it makes sense to the people that I know who I'm trying to talk to, and I hope that that's in the game, and if it is, please let me know.
Significant damage,
because that makes it
for the best
10 times
loot.
more
A vast
better.
array of bosses feature too, ranging from dragons, goblins, and behemoths, with each boss equipped with their own unique combat style and attack patterns.
Yeah, that's cool.
Co-op mode. As already mentioned, the game's plethora of quests can be undertaken in squads of up to 4. In fact, there's over 100 quests dotted throughout each of Granblue Fantasy Relink's towns, with XP
100?
and treasure the rewards for completing them. Playing with others isn't just the most effective way to farm rewards.
Now that's
Granblue
hard.
Fantasy
100
Relink
quests?
appears designed with co-op in mind. As an example, there's a great range of communication tools, such as stickers and emotes that can be shared among players competing together from anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Stun gauge. The stun gauge is a special mechanic.
I still wonder how important the main story is to the actual quest, or excuse me, how important the quests are to the main story, since the main story is supposed to be completed solo. But the game is mainly focused on this cooperative centerpiece, you know, like that's the centerpiece of the game. Is it's cooperative and you're supposed to play with people or with AIs. So if that's the main audience that they're tapping into and the main play style, why make the main story solo in the first place?
That accumulates in enemies that are repeatedly being attacked. When the stun gauge has been filled, enemies will become...
Last pause on this. And the reason I say that is because you have games in the Tales of series that have the main story be cooperative and still tell these amazing, emotional, and impactful stories. Some of them are more goofy than others, of course, but you still are able to tell these beautiful stories roped in together, playing together as well. So I wonder what made them choose, because, you know, in game design, you can do anything you want to. So it's really on how much of it can you actually do, or what can you place inside your video game. I don't know if I worded that right, but you get what I'm saying. Is you have this massive world, you can do anything until you can't anymore, right? You get a deadline and then that's it. So I wonder what sparked them to choose to make the main story a solo adventure versus it being cooperative all the way through alongside the quest lines.
Susceptible to special moves and party-based combos. To get the most out of stun gauge, it appears the flow of battle will require players focus their efforts on one enemy at a time. Party-based combat mechanics. In a move similar to the upcoming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, side games are aiming for complete synergy between party members in Granblue Fantasy Relink. For example, the aforementioned stun gauge leaves opponents exposed to link attacks, with these being party-wide special moves that are executed by each member in tandem. Furthermore, reaping the benefits of stun gauge and link attacks requires parties to strategize.
Nah, this game's gonna be good.
Utilizing each of their unique abilities to overcome the most challenging
sound design is gonna be big on this too. That's a huge thing. Y'all realize how many RPGs there are out there that absolutely put me to sleep? It's unfathomable how many RPGs I've played where the sound design is just boring. The sound direction could be like gorgeous, beautiful, and the engineers behind it could do awesome things, right? But then you put these soundtracks in your game that are just horrible. Like, I want to feel like I'm in an adventure. I want to feel like, if it's this type of an adventure fantasy type of game, I want to feel like I'm out of this world and it's whimsical, right? But sometimes you go into a town and then each individual area has their own music, and sometimes those iconic, unique musics or things are like so impactful to you remembering the story and you remembering your adventure, versus like this basic music that you can put in your game that you're just I guess literally adventuring around in. Sometimes that's super boring. I understand you can have like a bass track that's playing while you're doing that and then it changes when you go into certain locations, but I would like to see more games put better soundtracks in their video games that it's impactful, because it makes such of a difference, right? You ever go into a Batman movie and they play some silly ass song? It's not gonna have the same punch versus them playing some dark, brooding, drumful hitting or just quiet. You know, the sound direction, the sound is everything when you're telling a story, because it can be just as a part of your journey.
Tree.
I say it every time. That's a big thing for me.
Unique upgrade trees with different skills, moving
especially coming from somebody that makes music myself.
Of leveling up by simply increasing base stats. As
okay, that's awesome.
Are unlocked for each character, so too do they learn specific skills and special moves, with a huge variety of paths players can take to truly customize the build of their character. Upgradable weapons.
That's good. You can't have an RPG without upgradable weapons.
The attributes of each
Absolutely.
character via the game's upgrade tree. Characters can be further customized via upgradable weapons and sigils. The specific path players can upgrade through unlocks specific weapons too, presenting an arsenal only they can equip. Assist mode. Granblue Fantasy Relink ships with an assist mode to provide accessibility to all levels of gamers, ensuring everyone who picks up the controller can get the most out of the game's fast-paced combat. The basic assist mode grants access to full combos via the press of a single button. Plus,
can we normalize getting assist mode out of video games? We're not dumb. Developers they think, okay, this is the best way to make it beginner and user friendly. On paper, yes, but it's a little insulting for the people that's out there. Now, I get it. Sometimes you might just be trying to get clips and stuff. You're trying to get stuff for your YouTube videos or whatever it is, right? Sometimes I understand you can make some really flashy, cool things. But isn't it, this is just coming from somebody that's more competitive, I guess. I just feel it should be way more user input to get these cool things that happen, to get you actually through the story. Like it should be you in an immersive way to get through the combat. Am I alone in thinking that? Like they did it in the new Naruto game. I'm not gonna be there playing simple mode or assist mode in a fighting game, bro. Don't give me normalized auto combos. If the auto combo is there, sure, use it to combo into something else. But so many people use auto combos as a crutch, and then they just be like, yeah, I'm really good at the game. No, nigga, you're not good at the game, bro. The game is doing all the work for you.
To provide accessibility to all levels of
maybe
gamers,
that's just me.
Ensuring everyone who picks up the controller can get the most out of the game's fast-paced combat.
Yeah, and I find it insanely ironic. Hugely ironic how the way it's marketed is the premise of those modes are to allow access to all gamers, like they're catering to all gamers, but doing that always off-puts a certain kind of gamer like myself. I can't be the only one in the entire world that is off-put by them putting in an assist mode inside of video games. I know it's very easy. You can just say don't use it, don't or whatever, right? I don't think it's as much of a problem in these games because you're trying to just get through the game and have fun as it is per se in a fighting game that you are marketing to be competitive, because they have that inside of the new Street Fighter, right? And I've heard them market it inside the Tekken game that just dropped, and it's inside Naruto game, right? So now you're normalizing this. It was in Soul Calibur as well, the newest one that had dropped a few years ago. When you start normalizing that, and it's in Dragon Ball Fighter, look, my point is when you start normalizing that inside of competitive fighters, the answer of, well, you just don't play with it. Okay, that no longer becomes the answer to that. That no longer becomes the solution, because I have to still fight against other users that are going to be using that. With them being assisted, it is much more difficult for me to actually get a competitive edge on these other players, because if they figure out how to use that very well, then they're liable to be way more overpowered than you are, because the game is doing 70% of the work for them, and they can just focus on doing a completely different thing while they're just tapping one button. I don't like that. So, just to be clear, I think it's okay to have it in these types of video games where it's mainly focused on having fun, have a good time, you're engaging with the combat in your own way, and yeah, that's you just doing whatever, and it's a story sort of combat. You're not fighting against another player. It's not PvP. But once you start adding PvP into the mix, I start getting an issue with it, because then people can just use it as a crutch and then claim that they're really good at the game when you're really not.
The basic assist mode grants access to full combos via the press of a single button, plus assisted map navigation with auto heal, auto dash, and auto guard also possible. Full assist goes one further.
Auto guard could be something that's cool. Auto heal too.
Dodges and combos.
Again, I think the thing is it's okay in these types of games.
Can be played with assist mode engaged. Release date and platforms. Granblue Fantasy Relink is set for global release on February 1st, 2024, with various physical and digital editions on offer for PS4,
I thought it was coming out on the
PS5,
29th.
and PC via Steam. And there's a free demo available for PlayStation right now. That's all for now. If you enjoy what you saw, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, now is a great time to subscribe. We upload brand new videos.
All right, so it was that. I think that was very informative of a video, honestly. There was lots in there that told us a lot about the game. So I feel like I got a whole bunch out of that video, but I do still have other videos pulled up that I want to check out. I don't think I ever seen the actual showcase trailer, so I do want to watch this as well. Ooh, yo, who's the one with the armor? The red armor, that shit look clean. Ooh, I'm not a big fan of like super slow sword swings unless they're like really impactful. Yeah, whoever that dude is looks clean as hell. I wonder, have they announced that you can play with all characters, or is it like you just have to play as Gran? Because I would like to experience all the other characters as well. Just due to the fact that I haven't been like properly introduced to these characters in another video game. I'm kind of interested, and I do feel like I want to dive more into this. So I'll probably download the demo tonight and play it. Yeah. You got somebody with a gun? Ooh. Yo, wait, what studio's developing this? I'm sorry. Psy Games. Yo, Arc System did a great job adopting their style, I guess. I don't really know. I know Arc System worked on the Versus game.
It's time.
Oh my gosh. I want to play as her. That lance looks super cool. I'm sorry. That shit looks dope as hell.
It's time.
Ooh. See, I know his main power is wind. Oh my gosh. This looks amazing. Yeah, I love that trailer. I'm not gonna lie. So what is it? 2023 winter? I mean, we're 2024 anyway. It's not out. Maybe that's when the demo was dropping. I need to see more of that chick. Just off of what I've seen, I would probably play the Versus game and want to play that chick with the lance. Or halberd. Is that what it is? Is that a halberd? Because she aesthetically, she looks the best.
It's time.
Yo, whoever that was that said seize the dead, yeah, he looking clean too. Seeing as her hair flows through the whole thing, I'm gonna say she's like one of the main characters, like main characters that maybe you're protecting throughout the entire thing. Yeah, I'm excited for this game. 100% excited for this game. Another thing I want to look up is Tales of Arise official trailer.